Everyone thought I went nuts. One minute he's a steelworker, next minute he thinks he's a property investor. And so I went through a bit of the mindset challenges then. I was trying to prove to everyone and trying to explain to everyone, and people just thought I'd gone mad. I joined a pyramid scheme. And so I'm Dion, I'm from South Wales. I do service accommodation mainly as my cash flow strategy. Anything creative to acquire properties, so BRRs, lease options, rents. Been using Property Filter for about 2 years and I've grown a good little business. So I've done a couple of courses and they were saying just use Rightmove, and spent hours just scrolling. At that time as well, I was working, so I didn't have much time. And it just felt like I was wasting lots of time. I was eager to find deals, doing lots of viewings, trying to ask questions to estate agents, and I looked quite young and they just dismissed me, so I found it really difficult to get started. So after that I started blasting out letters, but not like the stupid colour envelopes and the landlord letters, which everyone does. So I used Property Filter to really niche down on motivated sellers. So I'd look at properties which have been on the market for a long time, they've fallen through, so Japanese watery, damp, all the problems that they were having, I'd filter right down. And my first batch of letters, I sent 10 letters and I had 6 phone calls.
Wow.
So that was that. So I'd done a deal pretty quickly within 2 months. So I bought one with a bridging loan, and that was a refurb, and we done that. One minute he's a steelworker, next minute he thinks he's a property investor. And so I went through a bit of the mindset challenges then. I was trying to prove to everyone and trying to explain to everyone, and people just thought I'd gone mad. I joined a pyramid scheme. And obviously the process and like the journey that we go through, and obviously I come through that now looking back. It was quite complicated 2 years ago as well, so it wasn't as user-friendly as it is now. So when I first seen it, I think Simon Zucchi introduced this Frenchman on a webinar.
Yeah.
Went through it, so like there's a lot of it, obviously go through all like the training and stuff, but obviously it's much easier to use now. And this, I can use Property Filter and source a property to order. So I've first engineered the process, so where like people, when you start off, you just want a deal, you just want the property. Well, that property is a liability. You need the cash flow to make it an asset. So what I've flipped in my business now, the way we use it is we're focusing on outreach, demand, finding a demand. And once we know there's demand for service accommodation in that area,
then you'll find it.
We can use Property Filter to find properties to match the demand. The problem he had, right, he was 68, he's on a pension, and his mortgage term had run out, so he couldn't remortgage. Lloyds Bank wanted to repossess, and sales kept falling through, so I noticed on Property Filter, falling through. He dropped the price, but he couldn't drop it anymore because he owed the bank this money.
Yeah.
So he was stuck, he couldn't drop it anymore to sell it cheap to an investor, but first time buyers were going there, and it was a little bit too much work, so they had money for the deposit.
Yeah.
So in my mind, it worked. It was a perfect assisted sale, right? So I spoke to Hanif and Guillaume about it, right? And they're like, yeah, do an assisted sale, use this solicitor, you can structure it in the correct way. You can structure it so you don't pay stamp duty. So you could do a flip, secure the deal on a lease option, or you can even exchange, delay the completion, and then sell it on to someone else. So that's what, in my mind, I put this deal to him. That worked for him. So I agreed I'd pay him a little bit more than what he owed the bank. So he had a good few grand then to move on to his next house, which would be a rental property. Yeah. It was a win-win. So I wouldn't have had to buy the property, just put money in for the refurb, secured it. He had a few extra grand, and then I could have sold it on to a first-time buyer. I had a good comparable. So on Property Filter, there's a property went on within a couple of days. It sold for 167k. I know it was 167 because I know the estate agent. I gave her a ring and she said, they were queuing up to buy it. So I was 2 or 3 doors down. Yeah. Good end figure and a good solid comparable, because I think doing assisted sale, you need to know it's going to sell. Yeah. But the only thing, Lloyds Bank wanted the house back, right? So I spoke to Lloyds Bank on the phone. We worked out how much he owed. He owed 110k. It was up for 125k, but he was willing to come down to around 114. And then he would add a few grand to move on.
Yeah, to cover his fees, etc.
Agreed assisted sale. we got the solicitors to send it to start the work. Lloyds Bank said, okay, as long as there's an agreement in place, they'll pause the repossession, but the court hearing had already been paid for. So she said, go to court, take all the solicitor's paperwork, and then I imagine she said they'll reject the repossession order. Yeah, so last year, so like the first 12 months using Property Filter, I was green, keen,
wet behind the ears.
Yeah, desperate, just trying to do any deal. So I went to London to do a deal, right, in Tooting, right, which I just soaked it on because I realised it was a bad idea. But it was like I thought I got to take any opportunity. Yeah. And when I took a step back, then you realise there's deals on your doorstep in your street. You don't need to go travelling around, and I become more focused on my strategy. So I live in South Wales, so there's lots of regeneration projects. Although I worked in the Steelworks and had redundancy, and just focus on, I send letters on Property Filter and just build relationships with people. Since I've started hosting the networking event, Property and Pompadoms in Swansea, I think that's worked and has helped give me credibility. So I had a good network of people around the country, a small network in my area, so I think everything's starting to pull together. And it has taken 2 years for me to get to where I am now, so I'm only just getting started, to be honest though, but it doesn't happen overnight either, so it is hard work. My missus has nearly left me 100 times. but it's starting to come together a bit now. Yeah. So it's having this an open mindset.